Hi, I'm Gill Moakes. I'm a business coach and mentor and the host of the Heads Together podcast. I help ambitious, freedom-seeking entrepreneurs step into who they really are and create wildly profitable businesses doing what they love. Rewild Your Business on the Stoned Fruit Roll.Up is a 6-part documentary. It's a reality TV series for business, if you like, where I'll be taking my business bestie, Rebecca Gunter, the founder of Stoned Fruit, on a journey to define success on her terms.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rebecca Gunter, Peach-in-Chief at Stoned Fruit. I'm a brand strategist, developer, and copywriter.
I want her to start regenerating time and energy for herself. And we're going to do that by rewilding her business, by cutting away what doesn't belong to allow what does to thrive.
The biggest challenge in my business right now is how freaking overcomplicated it is. No one knows what to buy from me, and I need someone to help me clear the forest and help me replant the seeds that actually have a functionality and a purpose.
So over the next 6 weeks, we'll be deconstructing the idea that there's only one right way to do business. And my goal is that by the end of the series, Rebecca will be crystal clear and completely confident, owning her own unique ecosystem. Hello, everybody. Welcome to ReWilding Stoned Fruit, part 6. 6 episodes of this. So good. I'm loving it. So this week, where we're going to pick up this week is you in the intro you just heard, I mentioned about Rebecca creating her own ecosystem of offers. And this week we're going to pick up on that. So a couple of episodes ago, we started with her really getting some clarity around what she actually sells. This has always been a difficult thing for Rebecca to really put into words and to really kind of package up, if you like, to make it so that people understand, what they can buy from her. And her homework last week was to go away and kind of look at everything that she does, look at her existing offers, look at the things she wants to be able to package up and sell, and just start playing around with what that could look like in an ecosystem of offers. So there will be a varying entry level points. So some higher ticket offers, some mid-tier offers. There's going to be some that are big projects, some that are small projects. And that is the secret to a really thriving ecosystem for your business, is making sure that you are serving your people and meeting them where they're at with the offers that they want and need. So in this episode, that's where we're picking up. We're then going to pick up again from where we left off last week on marketing. Once we know what Rebecca has to sell, then we can figure out what the right marketing strategy is for that. And this, we don't have to overthink this. It isn't overcomplicated, okay? We are going to really think about who she's serving, what's their preference in terms of how they consume content, for example. What's her preference? What's Rebecca's preference when it comes to actually doing marketing activity? What does she want to do? What are her non-negotiables? What are her hard no's? We don't want to be forcing anyone into doing any kind of marketing activity that they don't feel comfortable with, because it won't be sustainable. And finally, we're looking at systems and operations, and really, when it comes to our systems, marketing is the main thing that drives this. Marketing and client service delivery. So we're probably going to start touching on that in the episode today, and start figuring out exactly what that will look like behind the scenes to provide a really solid framework for her marketing strategy. Okay, so that's what's coming up ahead. So let me invite my co-conspirator, Rebecca Gunter to the stage. Come on up. Here she is. Welcome to your own show.
I want that confetti cannon in real life.
Oh my God.
Pew, pew,
That would be
pew,
the best.
pew.
See, I never think of a good Christmas present for you. That would have been a really good Christmas present. A huge confetti fan. Confetti fannon?
That sounds naughty when you say it.
Don't sound naughty. A confetti cannon.
You are appealing to me. My God, the agenda at the top of this show is like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
We're not going to overthink it. We're not going to overthink it. We're going all in. We're getting it done.
You might need 6 or 7 more episodes of this series.
I'm available.
I love it. I love it. Part 6, I'm almost brokenhearted over it.
I know, right?
Oh my God. Yes. No.
But here's the thing. Maybe we didn't stick exactly to our buckets, our topic buckets in each episode. But I tell you what, I love the flow that this series has followed. I love the way that we've kind of started doing something, and then on the next episode, we pick back up on that thing, see that through to fruition, and then move on to the next thing. And so each one kind of like blurs nicely into the next episode.
Remind the folks at home, Jilly, that this is work. Let's pull back the camera a little bit to the 30,000-foot perspective and talk about this kind of journey as a personal retreat and why people would, other than for darn good television, why would someone go through the process of rewilding their business? And maybe if folks are tuning in for the first time, what does rewilding mean to you?
Great question. So rewilding to me is the number one thing is it's about simplifying things. So many people, when they come to me, are either completely overwhelmed because the business model that they've created is incredibly complicated. They've got too many offers. They're serving too many audiences. They have too many different strategies on the go. And they're really struggling to pull it all together into a cohesive business that they can stay on top of and feel in control of. And rewilding your business is really about cutting away what doesn't belong there to allow what does to thrive. So if you think about rewilding in nature, it's all about planting kind of indigenous plants back where they should be. It's about allowing certain areas to really go back to their natural habitat environment. So I love this analogy really between that natural state and rewilding of business, because there's something very organic about the way you can grow a business if you do it this way. If you go right back to the basics, the foundations of your brand, going back to thinking about your values and the things that matter to you. Because when a business gets overcomplicated, some of those things fall by the wayside. We're so busy in the doing that we actually lose sight of what we started off trying to achieve. And that's why this kind of guided journey from vision through to goal setting, through to positioning, through to being clear on who you serve, to be clear on how you serve them, what your offers are, how much you charge, then through to how you're going to get those in front of the people that you want to buy them, so your marketing. And then, and only then, okay, so what do I need in the back end of my business to make all of that happen? So it is a beautiful flow. And the reason that I really would love people watching to consider doing this process themselves as a virtual retreat, solo virtual retreat, is that when we are busy and in the weeds of our business and we're overwhelmed with all the things and all the doing, we don't have the space we never have the space to actually sit back and think, is this even aligned with what I want? Is this even in any way connected to the vision I have for my business? Or have I just done this because I read something that it was the new hot thing and therefore I have to do it too? So
And I created a job for myself.
I created a job for myself. I mean, you've said that to me before. You said, this business was supposed to be the pleasure and the bits of it that you love, which I know you love, the client delivery, the work you do with your clients, but the business side, the back end, the overwhelm with the marketing, that turned into like a job, and it wasn't even a job you applied for.
Or want to do it all, kicks the can across the road
to the curb. Oh, my American came out.
Oh my God. Where'd that come from? Kathleen wants to know if this is a process of rewilding works with product-based businesses as well, or just service-based businesses. That's an excellent question. Thank you, Kathleen.
It's a great question. I think I can honestly say this works with any kind of business. If you are in a business, you need a clear vision. If you're any kind of business, if you're in any kind of business, you need to have goals so that you know what aligned action looks like. If you are in any kind of business, you have to have customers or clients or members or, whatever, however you class the people you serve. You have to have those people. You have to have something they want to buy. That's what being in business is. It's people paying for something, whether it's a product, a service, a membership, a done for you, whatever it is, you have to have something that those people, your people, want and need. And I don't care what business you're in. If you're not marketing, you're not getting new eyes on what you're doing. You don't have a sustainable business.
Why did the camera pan to me just now?
Ba, 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 ba.
I would like to report in that this process has influenced me tremendously.
Oh, I'm so pleased.
While here we are on this podcast platform, and you didn't expect me to blow smoke up your skirt, and I truly intend to, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh,
and it's absolutely true. I put forth a proposal this week, and the language I used, I don't want to say it was totally, I generally have this kind of template that I use for all the evergreen pieces of my proposal. And I just saw so much of the work we've been doing come out and shift the way I was talking about what the work that I was proposing to do and why it mattered, and just has made such a difference already, kind of having this stuff in alignment. And I know we did this as a exercise because why not? Let's use this channel. We can get so much out of it. You can showcase your retreat, and I can go through it, and we can share with our YouTube audience at home how the sausage gets made, and hopefully we'll influence them as well. All of that is well and good, but damn, this is money well spent, Miss Jilly, because it's really making a difference already.
Thank you so much. Tell me specific. I'm really intrigued. Tell me specifically. So when you were putting that proposal together, because we've had some really good ahas through this. I think, back when we were doing like the visionary stuff and the goal setting and the positioning. So what specifically came up when you were doing that?
Mostly shifting the focus away from selling the idea of why one would do positioning or get a positioning statement, and to start instead talking about words that sell, content that connects, articulating a brand voice, all of these things that came up around positioning, and then understanding how the offer really needed to meet the client where she was already, and future cast a little bit, but also be really grounded in who she was. And I think I'd been beating the positioning drum for so long that it was kind of shocking to see how much of that was baked in kind of an antiseptic way of like, it's the positioning statement. Get a positioning statement. Get a positioning statement.
Yeah.
Instead of, Words that work.
Instead of realizing that no one cares about your tools.
No one gives a
No
shit.
one-
Rebecca.
No one gives a shit about the tool you use to do the work you do. And I feel like the positioning is really one of the tools you use to get people the result they want. And what they want to hear about is the result.
Yeah, that was a real aha moment. That was a real record scratch for me. It's just really, I've been obsessed with positioning statements for so long that I just keep putting those forth, like shoving that hamburger down your throat when really people are just hungry. Thank you.
And the thing is, I think you still should be obsessed with positioning because it's so bloody important. And it's such an important tool, and it's such a pivotal part of your process. It's just that that's not the selling point of what you do.
What you said was that's your process, not your product. And I was like, rip.
Yes.
Rip.
Oh.
So all of that has really helped me a lot.
Good.
This
Brilliant.
homework, which I'm always like, homework, has really been some powerful exercises, hopefully, in rewilding this dang brand.
Fantastic. So last week, business ecosystem offers.
Yes.
How did you get on? Because it was a big ask. I get it. It was a big ask.
Well, if you were here last week, folks, you might remember that I had a bunch of stuff sketched out in purple Sharpie across pieces of paper. I had done I had sketched out the customer journey. I had sketched out all the different ways in which we could plot products across that journey. I had done kind of an upside down pyramid as the Moakes method of, kind of sketching low, freemium stuff, low priced offers, mid-grade, high end. So my assignment was to go back to the drawing board and really now start to really put some development brain cells behind what are the offers in this ecosystem. Now, what I haven't done that really needs to be part of this work, and I make a absolute promise to go back and fill that part in, is the freemium stuff, like a newsletter or free coaching or this mailing list or that mailing list. I haven't done that.
Okay.
That should be actually easy. That should be the easy part, because doing the free stuff.
And also, to be honest with you, we're going to spend the second half of this show anyway talking about marketing. So I think that will probably reveal itself a bit then anyway.
Okay, good. And then I sketched out and really tried to flesh out offers. I am afraid it's still a little overcomplicated. I'm afraid when you said earlier people have way too many offers. Now I'm chewing my nails. Do I have too many offers? I'm not I'm not sure, but you can tell me where to strike, what I need to strike. And there are some things where I've just got the idea started, particularly around bundles. Okay, what would be in this bundle? Maybe I haven't fully positioned it yet, or kind of priced it, or figured that piece out. But I've got a lot to work with whenever you want to see my homework, so I can get my gold star.
So before you share it with me, because I know you want that gold star, I know how badly you love that gold star. One thing I would say is that it's only too many offers if it feels like too many offers for you, or if it confuses your people, your potential clients. If you've got 50 offers, but every single one of them, so if you take, for example, a product business, no one's going to tell someone with a product business that they've got too many products necessarily, unless lots of them are duplicated, or unless it means that a client can't very obviously see which is the right choice for them. So I think that's the key thing about your offers, is that as long as it's not making you feel overwhelmed, and as long as a client can navigate their way around what you offer and very easily see what's right for them, that's the key thing. It's not the number.
Well, that's good news. I think that where it starts to get, the wheels start to fall off is around the bundles.
Okay. All right. Well, how about we share and let's talk it through.
Let's do it, Mama.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, so let's bring that back up and maybe view it at, I don't know.
Full screen? Oh no, you can't do full screen. Or could you?
Kathleen, I don't know. Kathleen might help us. I don't know, but let's bring the font up a little bit and maybe that will help. Okay.
That's
so
good.
All right. So based on, first I'll just kind of walk you through the overall document of it, and then we can look at it piece by piece. I did just bring this font up. So assuming that people are on a customer journey, and we all acknowledge that that journey looks different for everybody, and there's no one single point of entry really for any kind of, I don't know. I don't even know if that's true, to be honest with you. Like, can you have a single point of entry, or do you need to have like lots of kind of gates open? So let's see where we go. The one thing I did resist, Jilly, is I did resist putting together packages that required me to have big partnerships with other people. So you don't see a full website redevelopment because that's out of my core competency. I can do the copy of it. So that caveat. Were you going to say something?
No, that's, I mean, I completely agree with that.
Okay, awesome. I heard a sharp intake of breath. Generally, that's you with your finger, aloft. Okay, awesome. Okay, so entering into the Stone Fruit world in the very beginning, again, I assume that we're going to talk about in the marketing piece, kind of, the free stuff, the freemium stuff, newsletters, opt-ins, free coaching.
Right.
This show itself, y'all are watching the Stone Fruit Roll-Up on LinkedIn and YouTube, which happens every Thursday at high noon. That's 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is the show about the show. You're building the show that you're watching right now. We didn't have any plugs. Okay.
Nice.
All right. So entering into our world, define your brand workshop. This is really, or the brand workshop. This is really positioning and messaging. I know we need to come up with a better name. Here, I'm calling it the Positioning and Messaging Brand Venture. I get that this name is not clear or compelling or sexy in any kind of way, but let's just
Can't we call it Define Your Brand?
Sure. Here you go. There you go. Case closed.
I love Define Your Brand.
Well, to be honest with you,
no brand deserves to be boring. Find out who the fuck you are in 5 hours or less. I mean, hello. There is no confusion there. I need to define my brand. I don't know what my brand is. I don't know what I stand for. I don't know what my values are. I don't know what my tone of voice should be. I don't know who my ideal clients are, right? Because, if someone comes to you and they're really at that pivotal moment, they may have been in business for a few years, but they may be feeling so kind of lost. Things aren't working. Maybe they want to pivot. Maybe they have a completely different venture that they want to explore. This is for them.
And the beginning.
So define your brand
and the
workshop.
Beginning of everything. Well, I mean, to be fair, that's what my old boss called her Define Your Brand Workshop, which is where I learned it. So maybe it's an homage, but I've been trying not to use it because it's kind of
It
hers.
is. I like it.
It's not that she's doing these anymore at all, or it's any kind of competition.
I wouldn't imagine it's the only one, and I don't think, it will be the only one moving forward either.
Agreed. Agreed. Okay.
It's a does what it says on the tin name, and I really like that.
Well, I know you do. Good. Okay. The next kind of entry level is just coaching.
Love it.
Little entrepreneur therapy. And then LinkedIn personal profile makeover is a place where people enter with me as well. So I'm working on the pricing. By the way, you might have noticed I dropped the price on this workshop so that it could be sold via a sales page. And that's what my business coach, Gill Moakes, told me, that if it's under $2,000, I can sell it via a sales page. So I dropped that price down. Okay. So after you've gotten to come to me for coaching, or you've come to me for a LinkedIn profile makeover, I should say us, Stone Fruit, or you've come to us for a Define Your Brand workshop. Now you have that, like, who are my people? What do they need? Who am I? What do I deliver? Why am I special, different, or the one? Or you have
Yep.
a solid understanding of your brand, or you're through LinkedIn or coaching.
Mhm.
Now you've articulated your brand voice. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to get your assets and gear. So
Mm.
whether you're making them over or we're starting from scratch, they're all a start from scratch anyway, because the positioning unlocks this whole, new set of words that work.
Mhm.
Maybe you want an email string and sequences. This is welcome sequences, on new client onboarding sequences, funnel sequences, just any sort of evergreen set of emails that you plug in for automation as you build your list. So, an email string, a client success story, or a case study. We might recall this case studies, but that's what this piece is.
Yep.
Website copy.
Can I just go back up for anyone listening? If you go back up to case studies, for anyone listening, if you don't have this, can I suggest you seriously prioritize investing in Rebecca writing a case study for you? I feel like this is one of those assets that you can have in your business that will pay for itself time and time again, particularly if you offer a high ticket service. So if you are a coach, if you're a consultant, if you're anyone who is offering a high ticket service, you need to have testimonials, social proof, and preferably case studies that really show, that share your process, the way you work with a client, what the outcomes were of the work you did. That kind of thing is going to sell your service for you.
And cut
Just
down the
wanted
amount
to
of educating you have to do.
completely.
These case studies are very, I would say they're really robust and flavorful. We talk to the
Yeah.
client. We talk to the client I interview the client for at least half an hour, and then I interview
Mm.
you about how you help the client, and then we write a story that's like really beautifully sets the stage, and then kind of future casts the reality they made happen, and then walks back through that partnership. So those are really good. Thanks for the commercial, Jilly. I love
Beautiful.
writing case studies.
Mm.
Okay, so email strings and sequences, case studies, website copy that's replacing
Yep.
home, about services, contact, 404 message, just the basics of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then a social media makeover. I kind of have this in here. A YouTube page might need a makeover. Your a LinkedIn business page. This would fit within that.
Mm.
Maybe you need a new Facebook business page, kind of anything along those lines. I only got this far as to just plug it in here. I
Yep.
haven't fully fleshed it out because I
Yep.
don't know
Yep.
whether or not it's going to make the cut. Okay,
Right.
so that's really like second tier. You defined your brand. Now you got your assets together, whether it's a welcome sequence, a case study, your website, or a social media makeover. So
And
now,
this is, just to be clear, so this is really kind of, oh, there we go, evergreen. This is kind of not stuff that keeps changing. Assets evergreen. Now what? Okay, got it. I love that differentiator. Okay.
yeah. So
Now we come on
those
to
are
the
like
ongoing work.
the foundational pieces are in place. Now the
Mm-hmm.
foundation, yeah, the ongoing work. You
Mm.
and I have been tossing around the offer of brand jams for a long time, a monthly subscription service that either translates into blog posts, a newsletter, a Substack, a LinkedIn articles, whatever the best vehicle or
Right.
transmission is. But this is essentially a subscription service that gets
I love
you
this
the
offer.
content you're looking for month after month after month. This, by the way, is something I've been doing for years already, this brand jams thing.
Right.
So I just
You
haven't
have.
branded it.
So, and with this offer, is this an off the shelf offer, or can people come to you with a proposal of what they want from you each month?
Well, I think we really would be strategizing about that together through, I guess, a coaching scenario where we're
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, what makes the most sense? You're going to get about 2,500 words at the end of the day. Are we going to break that up 4 times into a weekly email? Are we going to do one big think piece? Are we doing
Got it.
modules that are part of a bigger piece?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
that
know
makes
that this.
complete sense.
So we'll have to work on that. Jilly, I'm
Mhm,
selling it.
mhm.
You love full funnel. That's
Oh,
all the pieces that kind of, and this is as far as I got with this
I
guy.
love this offer. I love this offer. So can you
Positioning.
imagine, people watching, just imagine, right? The word funnel for a start fills most people with horror because there's a lot of moving parts that goes into building out a really good funnel. And I don't mean that it has to be an overly complex funnel, but even a simple, let's take a simple webinar funnel. Okay. You've got to have the positioning of the webinar. You've got to have a registration page. You've got to have the nurture sequence. You've got to have all the reminders. You've then got to have the copy that goes on the webinar kind of thank you for registering page. You've got
Yeah.
to have all of the follow-up emails. There's so much that goes into the funnel. And without any one of those pieces, it can fall flat. Or if those pieces aren't super joined up and providing a really cohesive messaging throughout, then I see this all the time with funnels that have been cobbled together where people have, well, I had already had a nurture sequence for this other thing, so I'll just copy and paste all of that and slot in the different names. And I can tell that a mile off, and I think consumers can too. It just doesn't come across as compelling as when this is done properly. So I love this.
What that brings to mind for me, Jilly, is I don't even remember where I learned it, but it just stuck with me ever since I heard a comment, and that was, you can't assume that people always remember what's your thing. So, let's say I'm building a funnel and I get super jazzed about it and I'm putting together all the assets, the opt in, the sales page, the emails, and all of that. And I don't ever ground the audience in what the thing is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm way close to it. They're not. So, I guess a simple way to exemplify this is when you have an opt-in and then people get the confirmation and you're like, yes, you're in for the launch pad. Can't wait to see you. I might have signed up for that 5 days ago. I might have signed
Right.
up for 3 funnels that day. Like, what is the launch pad? Why is it giving me value? Why did I sign up for it? What am I going to expect next? And so if you don't develop these assets as a whole set, if you're not thinking about them together as one piece that has
Mm.
many different interweaving parts, it's easy to get lost, and then therefore your audience is lost, and then the funnel stops working. So
Yeah.
good point.
You're really doing yourself a disservice if you do that. And you can actually waste an awful lot of time and energy and money by not getting this right. So, yeah, I love this.
I agree. And just like a word about the price tag. I don't know if that's where we're gonna eventually land. These are a lot of pieces, but if I can't generate $6,600 worth of sales for you with all of these pieces, I'm in
Right.
the wrong business.
You're in the wrong job. Absolutely. Yeah. I
So
mean, that's the thing with your pricing is that, in my opinion, your pricing is no-brainer pricing because the value you deliver with the copy and the messaging that you come up with, and also the strategy behind that copy messaging, because what you just said and summed up so nicely there is strategic. It's strategic thinking about not assuming that the person skimming an eye over their inbox is still up to speed with what they signed up for in the first place. That's strategic thinking. And I think you're absolutely right. If you can't make that back for someone extremely quickly, then you're right, you're in the wrong job.
I'm in the wrong business.
That's really important for people to remember that when they invest in this kind of service, that this isn't an expense, it's an investment on which you will get a return.
You're the best commercial I ever had.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just the truth. That's just the truth. Truth.
All right. So that's 4 things, Jilly, that are really in the your assets are evergreen. You're going to build your audience. You're either going to do it with brand jams, which is going to be some sort of regular communication, or maybe or you're building a full funnel.
Full
Okay.
funnel. I think with pricing on full funnel, I think there are very kind of short, easy to compile funnels, and then there are very complex funnels. I think it would be difficult to have a blanket pricing on funnels, personally. So it might be that funnels are priced, individually. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. Like an opt-in for a podcast mailing list is a lot easier than a webinar. Yeah, good call. So
also, I just
TBT.
wanted to shout out one other thing that you're very, 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 very good at: writing copy for quizzes. And we know that quizzes and assessments are brilliant opt-in funnels. So, if you're thinking of, they still convert really well. People just love taking quizzes and assessments, and Rebecca is incredibly good at coming up with the copy for these, including
I have so much fun.
The strategy behind, what outcome you want to come from the quiz. So yeah, very good.
I love writing these. I love also.
That could almost be an offer on its own at some point, but
it could, but I feel like it's part of the funnel.
Yeah, it is. It is part of the funnel, because a quiz on its own, without any follow-up emails, without thank you page copy and all of that kind of thing, is yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I actually am at this point kind of getting into bundling, even though I haven't said that, because this is really kind of, I'm not going to sell a sales page on its own unless you're on a retainer client, unless we've been working together for but I'm not going to be like one single sales page coming right up. That's not a thing, but it used to be. So maybe we're kind of bundling here. Okay, time to level up. Now what? Scale. I think I have 2 or 3 things under scale. A full launch. You're launching a podcast, you're launching a book, you're launching a YouTube show, you're launching a thing. So a full launch, and that's going to have a big laundry list like this one does of all the things. But that's as far as I've gotten with this one. All inclusive, done for you. A company brand book, which is like a 50-page laid out document that's like vision statement, core values, a detailed about your client, things you should know. I mean, it's really a dense, like beautiful brand book that you could use if you have teams. This isn't something I think you'd want to do if you were a solopreneur, unless you were trying to sell your business and you needed to give, you needed to increase the value of the saleability, the transferability of it by supplying a brand book. But this is a good thing for teams or companies that have more than just one person. A VIP day. Yay. So these are the 3 that are really around scaling. Jilly, I think that's it. Yep. Okay, now I get into bundled stuff. So this is where I'm like, okay, do I have too many offers? They start to fall apart at this point. Give me the Costco version. I don't know that you have Costco in the UK. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but we're talking about a big box store where you go and you don't just buy 1 can of chicken noodle soup. You have 12 cans of chicken noodle soup and a thing. So bundling the Costco version. We've been experimenting with a Business in the Raw at Home edition that just follows Business in the Raw. That's as far as I've gotten. I've got a minimal viable marketing mix and brand coaching, like all the things you'd minimally need to have in place in order to have, a marketing mix started. So there's an idea. This is something else we've tossed around, the 12 days of Christmas, basically. I mean, at this point, I'm starting to feel silly that we would have this kind of weird bundle. And then the very last thing is retainer, which I almost forgot about, which is my ultimate thing, the peak of my pyramid, which I love so much, is being on retainer and working on projects over and over again over time. So I almost forgot this little peak performance piece at the top of my diamond, but there it is. Jilly. I don't know what happened, but I no longer hear you. I don't.
I'm so sorry.
I was like, oh my God, Tony's going to kill me.
No, that was completely my fault. Completely my fault. Woo. I coughed and then didn't turn my mic back on. Absolutely brilliant work here. And I'm going to tell you why. I love that what you've done is you've taken yourself up out of the weeds, look down at where your clients are at. So if we scoot all the way back up to the top, and you've thought about it in this, and here's your entry level, define your brand. Then we come into, okay, evergreen assets. Then it's copy on the move. It's the kind of working copy that's not the evergreen stuff. And what I really love about that is that those are all entry points. So there's not, it isn't a case that everyone who comes into Stone Fruit World is coming in needing to define their brand. Some people are coming in with a brand that's fully fledged, it's fully formed, and it's absolutely ready to be optimized. It's ready to just go straight into a retainer. It's like, I want a blog every month. I want it really, repurposed into social media copy, and I want podcast scripting, whatever that looks like. There are people who are going to come into Stone Fruit World there. But there's also people who are coming in saying, I kind of have my brand, but now I want to tighten it up, and I want some evergreen assets built out, and then I'll decide what I want next after that. So I love that strategically you've really clumped it so nicely into people very easily being able to see where they are on that journey. And you know what I said before about what will lose people is when it's too hard for people to understand what they should be buying from you. So my only advice with you with all of that is that let's get some of the language at the highest level really basic. It won't be the time for the clever copy.
Right.
So it's like, so that's why I love define your brand so much.
What was the expression used? It's on the tin. What's on the tin? What is that?
That's what it says on the tin.
Yeah, that's really smart.
That's it. Because it's what people. Let me just tell you something funny about that, actually. Quick little funny story aside. I was at a conference once back in corporate days, and at this conference they had a tin of Cuprinol on the side, and that's
what's Cuprinol?
It's a fence varnish stuff that you use in your garden to protect your outdoor wood.
Mm-hmm.
If you're painting a fence or something, it's that. And their tagline is "Does what it says on the tin." And this was sitting in the corner of this conference all weekend, and everyone was talking about it. Everyone was like, kind of like, what is it? Why is that there? I don't understand. And it was only at the very closing of the conference that they pulled everything together with that as the explanation. Let's just focus on it does what it says on the tin. Let's be clear about what we do. So that stayed with me. So I quite often refer to that now. Does what it says on the tin.
I love that. I love that expression.
And I do think there's a place for it. I think there's absolutely a place for just the cleverest wordsmithery, which you're incredible at. But I do think there's a place within business for being clear about, so that people haven't got to work for it. We don't want anyone working to work out what they need to buy from you and when.
No, my girlfriend Michelle will say, I guess I'm just not that clever, which irritates me when she says it, because it's kind of like self-deprecating. But also, whenever she says it, I realize that I'm being more clever than clear. Like, what is the point if she doesn't get it? So sometimes I hear in my head, I guess I'm not that clever. And I think, okay, you've gone a little bit too far in the wordsmithery, and now you're masturbating on the page. And that is where I get in trouble.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely an ego behind it, and just a smug self-satisfaction of
100%. And I get that. And you should have that. It's part of who you are. It's part of the fact that you despise mediocrity. How often do we say that about you? It's true. But there's a time and a place. And when we're, coming into talking about marketing now, that we need to know when is the right time to make it very clear how people can buy from us and what they should be buying from us. And then a lot of the cleverness that you have with words is so needed in terms of attracting the right people. That's where we need that. But once they've we've made them notice us. Then we don't want to make them work for it in terms of how to buy from us. And that's the trick.
Where did you see it where you were like, note?
What, on your list?
Or is this just
I'd
a
have
general
to have it.
note?
I think I'd have to have it in front of me. I don't think you've done it too much, to be quite honest.
Oops. Let's get that.
So I think define your brand really clear. I think if we scroll down, entrepreneur, I think really clear, because you're always going to have just coaching as the tagline kind of thing. So, yeah. LinkedIn personal profile makeover, very clear. Right, email strings and sequences. I don't think people talk about email strings. I think email campaigns and nurture sequences, maybe. Email newsletters, campaigns, and nurture sequences. Maybe it's something like that.
Woo.
Another sequence.
It says what's on the tin. It nurtures.
It says what does on tin.
Okay.
Succulent success stories. I mean, I would rather that say case studies and testimonials. Or case studies, testimonials, and success stories.
Social proof?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Website copy?
Anything but basic website copy. Do we want it to say? I would just. I just reading basic website copy there. And I know it's not. I know the whole point is that it's anything but basic web copy. But I think it could be something more like, I don't know, you'll probably think of a really good W word that would go in front of it that was more wow-inducing. Wow-inducing website copy.
We'll honor you.
Yeah. Yep. And then social media makeover, I think, is fine. Brand jams, I don't think is good. And I know you love it, so I hate having to say that. And maybe we can have a brand jams AKA or something like that.
Sorry, everybody. My mouse is not.
Maybe I think it just needs something that really easily, because even the bit below, done for you copywriting, a wooden crate of words picked and packaged just for you, which is just such beautiful copy, but it doesn't tell me what it is. What am I getting? Well, I don't know what that is.
Okay.
But whereas if you go back up a bit, whereas if you scroll down into here, just down a little bit there, Brand Jams is the subscription service that delivers the copy your marketing mix needs. I mean, that is, so maybe you could have Brand Jams dash the subscription service your marketing mix needs.
We'll work on it.
Yeah.
We'll work on it.
Yeah. But making it a bit clearer. Full funnel, I think, is great. I love it. Love it. Yep. Launch fruits to nuts. Yeah, I think that's pretty obvious what that is. Launch copy. Company brand book. Perfect. Done with your brand foundation. Oh, is that part of the brand book?
That's the brand book.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then VIP day. Perfect.
Yeah. These are messy.
I think those aren't ready to. I think you'll probably redo all of those.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, it could be that what you do is ignore all of that to begin with. Just look at the offers you've mapped out under those kind of 4 headings, which is define your brand, the get the evergreen assets, then the moving assets, and then the scalable stuff, or the built to scale stuff. Under those 4 headings, maybe those are the options. Maybe we don't need any bundles on top of that at the moment, but what you do, just in honor of the Stone Fruit brand, is that every quarter you have a special, where you're picking.
That tracks. It's very Stone Fruit,
and it's very seasonal then, so you have the seasonal special.
I think I kind of neglected to recognize that a lot of the things in the scale portion were already bundled.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they are.
So
and I think you've done it very naturally.
Thank you, honey.
I love it.
Okay, good.
Now just got to sell it. Market and sell it.
Okay,
easy,
that's it.
Easy bit.
Yep. Done. Let's close the computer. Done.
Job done. Marketing, your nemesis. Although it used to be, and I shouldn't keep saying that because that's an old story. And I think we do this sometimes. We always make this joke that, oh, you hate marketing. And I don't think it's true at all. For example, you love it when it comes to the stuff you do for your clients. You love their marketing.
Fuck yeah.
But you just don't love your own.
Well, I guess if I loved it, I would make time for it. And that's what I don't love, is the pressure to constantly feed the marketing mix. And I know this is a very common sentiment. Look, the cobbler's children have no shoes.
I had a really similar conversation with a client today.
You did?
I didn't start this to be a marketer.
Yeah. And it feels like it's the only way. And I also feel like social media platforms are just really kind of distracting us all from getting. I don't know what the alternative is. I don't know what the alternative is. I was scrolling LinkedIn last night and I was looking for a news story for the Stream Leader Report, which is 1:30 Eastern Standard Time right here. Stay where you are, folks. All live all day. And LinkedIn is just turned into Facebook. Like I couldn't find any articles because the algorithm has changed so much that, reposting an article has no priority and only like personal stuff where you have your own commentary is making the feed, which is making it feel and read so much like Facebook. And I'm like, my God, when is this now? Is LinkedIn now finally irrelevant? So all of that stuff feels like just spitting in the wind, and
mainly because it kind of is. I've said this to you a lot lately. I've really changed the way I feel about social media, and it now for me falls completely into the searchlight marketing bucket rather than the lighthouse marketing. So there was a time when social media could be used like we would use our podcast, our blog, our YouTube channel, which I consider to be lighthouse marketing. We are broadcasting and hoping to attract our people to us. And there was a time when you could post really thoughtfully, in-depth posts, pictures, images, videos, really interesting stuff onto social media and attract people to you. I think that a combination of things have happened that means that that's just not the way it goes anymore. And I think one of the things is the saturation of people using social media, because don't forget, it's free. It's a free marketing, but they're using it with an expectation that it should be serving them. I was talking about this on the Heads Together podcast, on my podcast, probably this week actually, and about how we have to really ditch this entitlement mindset when it comes to social media, because the owners of Mark Zuckerberg's goal for Facebook is not to make us rich. It's
excellent
to make
reminder.
It's to make him and his shareholders rich. That is his prerogative, right? We get to use it as free advertising if we choose to do so, but we've got to adjust our expectations of how it's going to work. The algorithm doesn't exist for our benefit. It exists for the benefit of consumers, not advertisers, which is how we want to use it, right? So for business owners, if you decide you're going to use social media, you need to focus in on using it for a relationship building tool rather than a broadcasting advertising tool. And that could mean really rethinking how you use social media. It could mean really going back to the drawing board and completely pulling apart your social media strategy and completely changing the way you spend your time. Because the algorithm is never going to serve us. Unless you are someone who is investing a ton of money into using it as a paid advertising platform, and it is a great paid advertising platform. Not as great as it used to be, but it's still a great paid advertising platform. Whether that's, Facebook, LinkedIn, Google Ads, whatever paid route you wanted to go down. But if you're using it as a free tool, then you're going to have to just accept that it's never going to work the way it used to work. It's oversaturated with people who all have the same goal. Everyone who's in business who posts on social media is trying to sell their thing, not buy your thing. So if you think about LinkedIn, that's so true on LinkedIn. Everyone is learning how to, put out these really incredible long form posts, but everyone's doing that with a view to selling their thing.
And
who's on there looking
legitimately, who has time to read a long form post?
Who has time, right?
And then respond to it fully. It just feels like a full-time job. And to your point of like, they're making monies for their shareholders. All it does is it feels like it just distracts me from what I'm supposed to be doing. Now, I do think it still works. For some people, it
still works. And for some people, and also don't forget, particularly if you have a higher ticket offer, you don't have to attract that many people. I think you've got to keep this in perspective. For some people, it will still work. And that's great. For those people, absolutely use it. But I will bet you that the people that it works for don't just fire hose content out onto LinkedIn. I will bet that they have a great LinkedIn profile, for example. If they work with you, I know they have. But that's a massive thing. Don't just use LinkedIn to shove all your content out there and then be surprised if no one bites when you have a profile that reads like a 1980s CV. That's not going to work. Right?
God, I love it.
But imagine if you did read an interesting article on Substack or on Medium or on a Forbes interview or something like that. Imagine if you read something that really resonated and you had something actually interesting that you wanted to say about that. Then imagine seeing if you can connect with that person on LinkedIn and actually having something to say to them that's of interest. Also, being strategic about who you're connecting with on these platforms. Are you filling your feed with content being put out there by your peers? This is something I see all the time. Coaches' feeds full of content from other coaches, which is great if other coaches are your ideal clients. But if not, where are you supporting the content of your ideal clients? Where are you supporting the content of ideal collaborators? Where are you supporting the content of your ideal referral partners? That's what you need to be thinking about, not fire hosing your own content out there. Oh, that was a rantathon.
That's why I love when you go on a rantathon.
Oh my gosh. Need a rest after that.
I know.
And then take everything I just said and ditto it for every other platform. Because they're all
exactly. Exactly. I feel like, I know I'm kind of ranting about things that I'm actually producing. Like, why do we have to have content? Even though I'm content production house, essentially. Why do we
Because
have
it
to have
builds our
email?
authority.
Why do we have to have email when no one is reading it and it's all the same? Like, I was walking down the street and saw a candy bar wrapper, and that reminded me of this Listen in Business. They're all the same. LinkedIn, I mean, and do I have a great track record of being there and participating meaningfully in conversations? No. But I am making an effort, and I'm representing a couple of my clients on there. So I'm there more often. And I don't have a single DM for the last year that isn't someone trying to sell me lead generation or software. Not a
Mm.
single one. So like the time you spend just kind of like paying attention to that stuff and what's a lead and what's not a lead and who's actually reading these emails and who's actually watching this show, to be honest with you. Like, what difference is it
Our
making at all? I don't know the answer. Question mark.
Okay.
Nope.
So, first of all, I think that you are sharing with us some of your experiences and you're extrapolating them as if they are everyone's experience. It
Fair.
isn't.
Okay. Well, I
So,
guess everyone else in the world is getting productive DMs, but I am not.
no,
They
no,
are
trust me, I'm
100%.
still, I
Thanks
get a
for correcting,
thousand.
Rebecca. Have you thought about what your life could be like if you could generate 5,000 leads without doing any marketing in a single day? Wow, I have good news for you. Our new program.
I want to just push back on a couple of things though. Emails. I send one email at least to my email list every week on a Monday when my episode of my podcast comes out. And I have on my average open rate is 55 to 60%. I am ruthless with my email list in terms of culling anyone who kind of unsubscribes or hasn't opened an email for 3 months. I cull it because I want it to be a fair reflection of an engaged audience of people who are actually opening them, right? So that was a massive turning point for me when I stopped worrying about the number of people on my email list and actually looked at how engaged they were. So that's one thing I would say is that I want you to start building an engaged email list. Your emails are so readable, but start being really personal, more personal in them. I think
Oh
people want
my
to read.
God, what
That's what
the
I like
fuck?
reading.
More personal. I like
No, you are
literally
actually
reveal
personal.
everything.
Yeah, that's
I don't
fair.
trauma dump on people, but I am extremely transparent.
No, you are. You are. I mean, to be fair, this is why I get sad when I don't see emails coming from you enough. Because your emails are the emails people read. They are emails people open.
Okay, that's yet to be proven. But I will back burner my own email until the end of time in lieu of client work.
Yeah.
I
I
do hope
know.
that backstage Kathleen is backstage, who is helping me get all of this stuff wrangled for these shows, which I spend a lot of time just
Kathleen. We love
scheduling
her.
and writing the thing and putting it all together and just being a one woman brand when it comes to these shows alone. So I hope that will open me up to have more spoons available to do writing to my audience, which I really am struggling with. But I do try and write these show descriptions as very personal. They're not just
And you
like,
really do. And I think you do such a great job of that. Also, you're so consistent with putting out the shows, not just one, but 2 shows. And do you remember how I said, oh, thank you, Kathleen. Remember how I said to you about the podcast? I was like, oh my God, this is a lot. Putting out this podcast every week is a lot. And I don't know, I'm not seeing that many downloads and it feels like a lot. I feel like I'm talking to the wind. And I remember you saying to me, you'd spoken to Tony and our wonderful friend of the show who had said, right, it's a good year before you're going to see any traction, and you've only just celebrated your year birthday on here.
that wasn't
I'm on
even our year
episode
birthday on here. by the
No,
way.
it wasn't actually.
Everybody
It
got
wasn't.
confused the whole show. Like,
Oh, of course,
it was really
wasn't.
Stoned Fruit, the company's
The
birthday,
company's birthday.
because we didn't
So,
start this
so
until
remind me, when
spring
did we
last year.
start this?
March? Maybe February, March?
So early March.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah. But this is, I always talk about those 3 phases, don't I, of marketing? So visibility, lead generation, sales. This is your visibility platform. And the piece that we need to work on, this doesn't need work. This is great. This is really good. This will get traction. The more consistent you are, and you're so consistent, you're doing optimized show notes, couldn't ask you to do any more on that. The next part is the lead generation. It's, we've got to be getting people to opt in. We want their email addresses. So how are we turning people into leads who are seeing this content? That's the question I would put to you.
And even if they do see this content, let's just say, we have more than 3 eyeballs one day and people do see it. Right now, if they went to stonefruit.com, it's complete. You have no idea what to buy or what we even do. Like, all of this work that we've done in the last 6 weeks will then lead to revamping the welcome sequence, revamping the offer page. All of that is going to have to get burned down and start again, because let's just say that, we've got the visibility pieces working and we've got eyeballs, but then where they go next is a dead stop, because there's just nothing but,
exactly. Yeah.
Octophilia and huge pictures and no form.
Remember the quiz?
Yeah, the quiz estimate, still have it. Remember Branthropology 101?
I
Remember,
really want the quiz to be your lead magnet.
Kathleen?
Quizzes.
Let's
Kathleen, if you're
prioritize the quiz.
listening, this is where I'm talking about services and systems, or what was it, ops and systems. Kathleen, please, will you pin Rebecca down, get the quiz out of her hand, and make it come to life, please.
The quiz estimate.
And by the way, anyone listening, Kathleen just put that damn quiz. I love her. No, Kathleen, that quiz is coming to life. Kathleen is like the best online business manager, because she's just like, no, absolutely not. Love it.
And she hasn't kicked me to the curb yet.
Exactly. She hasn't even sacked you yet. It's a miracle. About damn time. Kathleen, you're the best. But I mean, just seriously on I know that we need to wrap up shortly, but thinking about marketing, anyone listening, if you can just get very clear in your minds, and this process of rewilding, again, email me so that you can get on my list if you want me to let you know when the virtual retreat is going to be available to sign up for. But when it gets to the marketing part, we need to stop overthinking marketing. We need 3 very clear ways of doing things. One is a way of being visible. One is a way of getting leads. And one is a way of turning leads into sales. And, just we have to start thinking clearly about those 3 phases and making decisions about how those are working. Because generally speaking, so if you look on, so Rebecca's sharing that's my homepage, and you can see top right, very clear, free vision and goal setting workbook bundle. Okay, that's really, really clear where you can get that. You click on that button, it's yours. If you scroll down the page, I think there's other ways people can get on. Oh, there we go. You've tried to come off, so then a pop-up has come up. Just reminding you, grab this damn bundle. Do it already. Let's not make it hard for people. No one wants to fight to work out how to work with you. It needs to be clear. And quite often the starting point is getting on your email list so that you can then tell them there's another freebie there. Then I'm telling them about my podcast. Oh, subscribe to it. That will have another opt-in under it. Now I'm going to be talking about, hey, what about private coaching? That's what I do. Click on there, find out more about that. you know, making it clear to people how they can work with you. You'll see there's a top of in the menu bar, work with me. Those are the ways you can work with me. So, you know, again, it's really important to not make people work for it. Make it obvious. Thank
So
you for
beautiful.
sharing that.
I hope people contact you there, Jilly.
Oh, thank you. Please do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Please do,
Okay.
but only after you've worked with Rebecca on your messaging, because until then, your marketing will not come together beautifully like it will if you have beautiful assets.
What a wonderful wrap up. Jilly, what's the one thing I should be doing next since we're not going to meet each other on this limited series anymore?
Are we pretending that I'm not going to be like elbowing my way back on?
Yes.
Let's go with that charade.
If we don't come back till
till
January though, like maybe there's a rewilding part 2, and then we really get into systems and operations, and we look at our redone website, and we take all the work that I've already done, and now it's plugged in, and you give us feedback on that. That would be wonderful.
That would be fantastic. Can I run through like a mental checklist of things that I would love you to do?
Yes.
So I would love you, and I'm going to make this quite generic so anyone listening can get this too. First of all, visibility. Decide on what your original content platform is. Make it a podcast, a video channel, or a blog. Lead generation. Have something of value that people can opt in via so that they are on your email list. Email them every week with sharing whatever your original content is for that week. So for Rebecca, it would be this show. Sales. How are you making it easy for people to buy from you? If it's a low ticket offer, send them to a sales page. Share the sales page often. Put it front and center on your website. Make it easy. If it's a higher ticket offer, are you going to have a webinar masterclass and invite them to have a call with you afterwards? Whatever it is, spend time just being clear about those 3 buckets. What are the activities you're going to do? What's the strategy that you're going to set up under each of those headings? Visibility, lead generation, sales. That's what I want you to think about. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Homework set. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, let's come back together in the new year and schedule something.
I would love
towards the end of January, maybe, and look at the progress, and maybe rewilding first. Every garden has a fall clean out and a spring replanting. So
definitely, I think that would be perfect. I would love that, and we can share some progress. And we should be working together between now and then anyway. So I mean, it would be really nice to see where we get to with this.
Yeah, let's not forget you are my transformational business coach. You are the person who has drugged me kicking and screaming out of being a waitress. Being a waitress in my own business, charging pennies for custom for made from scratch gourmet meals.
The per tweet, 50 cents per tweet.
Oh boy, don't you hate your friends? They remember everything. Talk about having way too many things on the menu.
Yeah,
per $3 a tweet. Yeah,
I love that.
Indeed. So I just want to say thank you for really you've taken 5 hours, more than that, because we always go over, but 5 to 10 hours of your life just being on this show and helping me put on my big girl brand panties, my big girl business and brand panties, so that we can thrive together. It's a little play on Jilly's words of rise together and heads together.
Just thank you so much for letting me do this, because I feel like you've let me kind of run the show really, and it's just been such a pleasure. I don't have a video show, so it's really lovely coming on here and getting to play host and kind of do the video thing. I really, really have enjoyed it. So thank you, and please let me back.
Indeed. And also I heard from the podcast Christmas Bunny that's not a thing. That we'll be refashioning these episodes for a very special limited edition uh, podcast within a podcast for the Heads Together podcast. So lots of
Yes,
podcasts
we
in one
will.
sentence. So we look
I'm
forward to
very
we look
excited
forward to
about that.
seeing what Tony does with this audio gold
Oh my
and what
goodness.
I do with these teachable moments and life lessons, and rip up my resume and start again. So thank you, Jilly.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone who's joined us on this.
Indeed. And thanks to Kathleen, who's jumped in a producer role. Next week is American Thanksgiving.
Of
So
course. Happy Thanksgiving, friends across the pond.
thank you so much. So I will not be here, but we do have a global audience. Kathleen is doing her very own episode, Stone Fruit Roll-Up episode takeover, because she's in Canada and the American Thanksgiving's a non-issue, and she'll be bringing on at least one other colleague and friend / fellow business owner, and we'll be talking. Well, not me. I might be in the comments, but probably not. Probably be knee deep in turkey stuffing, darling. That show will all be about being neurodivergent in business and leveraging your superpowers for good. So
well, I will definitely be in the audience.
if you consider yourself to be
that.
neurodivergent, I certainly do. That will be a wonderful episode. It is not. It's an advantage in business, if you ask me. And Kathleen's going to talk all about that. So tune in next week. If you're not doing Thanksgiving, check us in the replay. Smash that like and subscribe button. You are watching the Stone Fruit Roll-Up every Thursday on LinkedIn and YouTube at Stone Fruit at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 5 p.m. Merry Old England time.
Merry Old England time, where we don't have Thanksgiving for anything because we're completely ungrateful.
You have Boxing Day. It's kind of like that.
Oh yeah.
I was this many years old, by the way, and that means just recently learned that Boxing Day is not about the sport of boxing.
Adorable.
Just learned it.
Love it.
Because I wrote an email for a client. Fell on Boxing Day. So I got to learn all about it. So you have your own delicious holidays. Anyway, thank you to the Stone Fruit audience.
And thanks to Tony for that amazing intro, by the way, which I never get tired of.
Yes, let's give shout out for sure to Tony Pareco, Soundground Productions, for putting together that amazing intro. Gill Moakes, Gill Moakes Consulting, my transformative business coach and your future new best friend, which you can find at gillmoakes.com. That's GILLMOAKES.com. And we'll see you next week for Kathleen's takeover. Neurospicy. I love it. All right, Jilly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.